Good morning, Floss Tube. This is Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Monday. It's the 27th of September. And this is chart of the day number 114. Welcome. I've missed you. I've been gone for a while. I think it's been almost a month, if not a month. Life has just been really crazy. Lots going on in the family and lots going on with work and getting ready for retreat, because we are going ahead with retreat. We have 38 confirmed at this point, and I've cut off. I usually I can take 40, but when we get this close, however many there are, we've had a couple people drop out, so we're at 38. So we'll have 38 attendees unless anyone else drops out between now and the 21st of October. So that's been kind of keeping me busy, because there's just all this last minute stuff that has to happen and can't happen until your numbers are kind of confirmed. So getting excited about retreat, but kind of going crazy trying to get ready for retreat, because nothing seems to be going as smoothly as it should. It's been almost 2 years since the last retreat, and this was supposed to be the retreat that was held in May of 2020, and of course due to the pandemic that didn't happen. So I'm kind of out of practice and having trouble remembering everything that was going to be done, or had to be done, or needed to be done, so anyway, kind of scrambling a bit trying to get everything, and I keep adding stuff, so that's not helping. So anyway, I thought I would try, since the last 2 weeks I've had this stuff here at the house for 2 weeks, which has kind of caused a problem at work, because I know I have the fabric in my head and I'm looking for it at work, and totally forgetting that it's been sitting here in my house for 2 weeks. So anyway, I thought I'd better get this done since I don't have Reese, because I've had her the last 2 weeks on Monday, and you cannot make a video with a 2-year-old in the house. So anyway, I thought I would get this one done before I head to work to do some stuff there. I'm not open on Mondays, but I do tend to have to go in on Mondays. So anyway, I thought I would get this done before I go to work. So we're just going to jump right into it. Today's chart of the day is probably, I would say, one of the very few charts that were released at Expo that appealed to me personally. I don't know what it is, whether I'm getting pickier in my old age or my tastes are changing. I'm not sure, but there just wasn't a whole lot that appealed to me personally. I know a lot of you liked a lot of the things that came out, but me personally, so don't come for me because I'm saying this. Me personally, I didn't care for a lot. So this is probably one of the 2 or 3 that I thought to myself, yeah, I would stitch that. So I thought I would do that. I'm sorry for those of you who like large projects. It's not a large project. I'll try and do a large one next time. We'll see. So this one is from Stacy Nash. It's called the Butternut House Pinkeep. Looks like this. I really like I've always said I like a yellow house. I like a checkered house, and I like a yellow house. My house is yellow, so I'm kind of partial. Mine's not that color yellow, but my house is yellow. And it's got these cute little pumpkins down here, or jack-o'-lanterns, I guess, because they have a face. So that's the one that appealed to me. Now, it calls for The stitch count is 132 by 142, so if you do it on the called for 36 count linen, its finished size is going to be about 7.5 by 8. Calls for Patriot's Brew, and it uses mostly DMC threads and 1 overdyed. I don't have a lot of Patriot's Brew. I think I have maybe enough for 1 person, so I'm not going to do mine on the Patriot's Brew just because one of you out there might want it. So, and I can't get any more at this point in time, so I thought I would save it for a potential customer. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Stacy usually does some aging after the stitching is done. So you stitch your piece, you finish your piece, and then she has you age it. And I'm going to just read the directions to you so you know that I'm not totally bonkers. She says to age your finished Pinkeep with walnut crystals. Brush the liquid on the front and the back and dry with a hairdryer on medium or high heat, and repeat until the desired aging is achieved. Now, I have done this with projects that are completely DMC. She does call for 1 overdyed. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. You know, maybe if you're brushing it on and immediately drying it, the colors wouldn't run. But I'm not sure. So I don't know yet if I'm going to age it when it's done. I'm still thinking about it. And part of the reason is because I did swap out a few flosses. So, let me just get them here. So this is your color palette. Now I have, let's see if I can do this. This is 30, what is that? 3011, and I'm going to use Weeks Dye Works Lily Pad for that one. The charcoal is called for. That's a Weeks Dye Works. It calls for 640. I don't have my glasses on, so excuse me. 646, which is used down here. That's the background color, which to me looks a little more blue than this. So I thought I would just change it up and use Aged Pewter from Gentle Arts. It's a little bit bluer, and I kind of like the more blue color. So I'm going to do that. You can do whatever you want. And then the house color is supposed to be 680. And I'm going to use Gentle Arts Old Hickory for that one. The rest I'm keeping the same. And like I said, I'll figure out, when I have it stitched, I'll figure out if I want to age it or not. So anyway, there's your color palette. This is the Patriot's Brew, which is just kind of a brown. And that's what your colors look like on that. This looks a lot darker than the picture, or it is a lot darker than what the picture shows. So the fabrics that I chose are all a little bit lighter than, well, with one exception, because I kind of like how the picture looks. So I myself am going to do mine on 40 count Cafe au lait, which looks like this. And like I said, I may age it a little bit when I'm done. And then I have a Seraphim fabric that's called Antique Lace. It's a pretty one. Very neutral in color. Has some nice modeling to it. So I think that would work quite nicely. This is Driftwood from Color and Cotton. It's a 32 count. The other was the Antique Lace was an 18 count Aida. This is a 32 count linen. It's darker. It's darker even than the Patriot's Brew. And it's a little more gray. And you might think that possibly that this won't show on it, but I think it'll be fine in real life. And lastly, this is Cecil, one of my favorites from Seraphim. It has some nice peachy rust colors in it. Sometimes almost a hint of blue-gray. So, and I thought it would look really pretty with these colors too. Kind of fall looking. So that's your chart of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. Question for this video, since this is kind of a fall or Halloween design. You can see I've got a little fall greenery going back here. Is, do you decorate for Halloween? I used to. I don't. When the kids were here, I used to go all out for Halloween. Now that they're not here, I don't bother so much. I just do fall because it can last up until I decorate for Christmas. But we used to go all out. We used to have, at our old house, we had a garden right by the front door. And, of course, by Halloween, the garden was dead. So we'd dig a hole in the garden and put a little tombstone made out of foam. And it had the words unknown trick-or-treater with the year on it. So, like, it would be unknown trick-or-treater 2021. And just have the hole with the dirt piled up next to it like it's waiting for an unsuspecting trick-or-treater. And we had Igor. We always had Igor hanging on the door. He was kind of a green face mask with black frizzy hair. We always hung him on the door. Dan would dress up. We'd have, the spooky music. One year we had a trunk out on the porch, and I'd recorded the sounds of thumping and a voice yelling, "Help me, let me out." And I put it on a loop so that when people came up to the door, it would play and scare them. And people were, afraid that there was actually someone in there. Sometimes we scared the trick-or-treaters off, which was kind of funny too, but now we're old and kind of stick in the mud, and we don't do any of that fun stuff anymore. Dan, one time, and when we lived in Wyoming, he dressed up, and I think he might have had Igor's mask on. And I can't remember for sure, but our door had this little, I don't know what you call it, but it was a little door thing that opened up, a little window thing. And our landlord's grandson came to the door, and Dan whipped that open, and he had the scary mask on, and he scared the kids so much. He was probably 9 years old at the time. He scared him so much he wet his pants. I felt so bad. but it's kind of funny now. But I felt so bad at the time. I told Danny he had to dial it back a notch so he wasn't scaring the little kids, because that had to be embarrassing for him. So anyway, my question is, do you decorate for Halloween? Do you go all out, or do you not? And let's see, what else do I want to talk to you about? So, because I think I'm done with that portion of the, yeah. Out of the Stash at Last is coming up this 27th. Out of the Stash at Last starts on the 1st. So let's talk about that for just a little bit. The first Out of the Stash at Last happened last year. And that was a challenge that I threw out to everyone to choose 4 projects that has been languishing in your, four projects you've never started that had been languishing in your stash for years and years. Things that you still wanted to stitch, but for one reason or another, you just hadn't done it. And it was a lot of fun. A lot of people participated. Some of them have even finished it over the course of this year. They've finished their projects, so kudos to you. I have not. I'm thinking, have I? Pretty 99% sure I have not finished them. This year, I put a little twist on it. You can do four charts that you haven't started yet. You can do 4 that have whips that have been languishing for a long time, like longer than 2 years is what I'm, longer than 2 years. Things that have been languishing that you do have started. You could choose 4 of those. You can do a combination of the 2. I think I'm going to start 1 new one and do 3 old whips that have been in there for probably longer than 2 years. I'm pretty sure they've been at least 5 years started, if not longer. I just thought it was time to bring a few of those out. So there will be a hashtag on Instagram to post your picture on. You work on one each week of the month of October. Post a picture on Instagram. I talked about it in my newsletter, which you can find on, if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, you can find the newsletter on the Reflections Facebook page, with all the different, not rules, but criteria. But basically you post like your beginning picture of your chart, your fabric, and your supplies, and then at the beginning of the week, and then at the end of the week you post your finishing picture. There will be a drawing for a gift certificate to Reflections the end of each of the 4 weeks for those who have followed the criteria. The hashtag will be, I'm going to have to look it up, but that information is in the newsletter also. And I'm going to try and do a little bit more in-depth video. Maybe. Little more in-depth video on the first, so that to refresh people's memories. But anyway, I hope you'll join us in the Out of the Stash at Last challenge. It was a lot of fun last year. People got to stitch on things that you've just had in your stash and languishing. It's time to bring them out into the light. What else do I want to talk about? Since I don't know if I'm going to get another video made. Let's see. Trying to figure out, I was considering doing a raffle at retreat this this year. When Connie was here a couple weeks ago, she was talking about how the rescues, the dog rescue groups, are struggling since the pandemic started. They're having trouble finding people to foster. They're having, they're not getting donations, so they're struggling quite a bit. And I thought maybe I'd try and pull together a raffle, like 3 gift basket raffle for retreat if I can, because y'all know the history of Rags. I got her after the fall retreat. I think it's 10 years ago. We came home from retreat on a Sunday, and Janelle, the gal who's the head of Wagon Train Terrier Rescue, which is where I got Rags from, brought Rags that evening for me to meet. And of course it was love at first sight, and I'm forever grateful to her for allowing me the pleasure of adopting Rags. So I would like to do what I can to help. So I'm hoping I can find the time to pull together some gift baskets for that. And help her a little bit, because she's thinking she may have to shut down the rescue group because she's having problems. So I'm hoping to do that, which is just another thing I keep adding to getting ready for retreat. I had to reorder a bunch of stuff because, of course, this was the first project that I've ever personalized. And we've had, it's been 2 years. We've had people drop out and people who have come on. So I've had to order some things. Those are all now in. So now it's just a question, I think, of pulling everything together. It'll happen. It'll happen. But, so that's kind of what's been keeping me kind of busy. Abby's had, I don't think I'm letting the cat out of the bag. I should probably shoot me, but Abby is expecting again, so she's had a couple of appointments on Mondays. So she brings Reese in to me on Mondays, and so I've had Reese for the last 2 Mondays, which is kind of, love the little deer, but you gotta watch her. You can't just let her run around without any supervision. So that's kind of put a crimp in my tail as far as getting ready for retreat. I don't have her today, so I've got a long list of things that need to be done. Otherwise, that's pretty much what's been going on. My niece Kate broke her wrist. Their small cow, Millie, she's actually a Bernedoodle, but she's black and white, and she's the size of a small cow, so I refer to her as the cow. Went running by her and knocked her over, and she broke her wrist, so she's got a splint on. Oh. And she got a blue ribbon for her first cross-stitch piece that was entered into the fair. I entered it for her without telling her I was doing so. I may have mentioned that in the last video. But I entered it for her. And we were going to take her out to the fair and surprise her. Just, oh, hey, look at this. But something came up and we weren't able to go. But she was still surprised. I took a picture of it, and because she hadn't seen it finished either. So I took a picture of it, and her mom and dad showed it to her, and she was very, very surprised and pleased. But now she can't stitch because broken wrist. So hopefully she'll get back into it once the wrist heals. And what else do I know? The bathroom. It's coming along. All the tile work is finished. Dan has all the wood up on the ceiling because we're doing shiplap on the ceiling. He's got all the strips up. It's got to have all the nail holes filled and then be painted. And then the ceiling will be done. The guys came out and measured for the shower door last week. And they came and measured for the countertop last week. So once those things are in, and Dan's got to finish up some woodworking like that would go behind the toilet area, which would be easier to put in before the toilet goes in. But once those things are done, once the countertop is in, then the plumber can come and he can finish hooking up all the plumbing. And then Dan would just have to finish the woodworking. So the end is in sight, but I think it's still quite a ways out because woodworking takes a while. He's got some of it done, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 doors that need to be done between the closet doors, the bathroom door, and the bedroom door. There's 4 doors that need to be done. He's going to have to do all the woodworking in the bedroom once our floor arrives, which our floor has still not arrived. But anyway, progress is being made. I can see a light at the end of the tunnel until yesterday when Dan had to go up into the attic and he put his foot through the ceiling in my bedroom. So I now have a big foot-sized hole in the ceiling of my bedroom. Which will have to be. It looks like you haven't set up any HomeKit accessories. I don't know what that was. So that's kind of what's going on with the bathroom. It's looking good. I'm really happy with everything so far. A little nervous about the countertop because I haven't seen it in like 2 months and I barely remember what it looks like. I'm just hoping it looks good with everything else. I've been driving Dan a little bit crazy. Just a little bit crazy. Because I keep changing my mind on finishes. So the night before the tile guy came, I changed the tile in the shower. And I think that might have put Dan over the edge. But he admits that the tile that I ended up with was the best choice. So I'm only going to do this once. I want it to be right. And let's see, how's the great floss drop exchange going? I'm not exchanging any. I have 3 different ones now. I've got one sitting here because I'm going to put ooh, that's a question for y'all. Those of you who are using that, here's one of mine. This is part of a sampler that I bought a few years ago that I'm working on charting. And then the back of this one says, let's see, Floss Keep. It gives a space for the project name. This one is for silks. I have one that's for DMC and Weeks and Gentle Arts because Rags tends to eat my cardboard on my floss. They will literally dig in my bag if it's not zipped and pull the thread out and eat the cardboard. They'll leave the floss alone, but they eat the cardboard. So sometimes I have to use it for other things. But I was going to put some of this on there. And then now I've just noticed that I grabbed the silk one instead of the cotton ones. But anyway, so how's it going for you guys? Are you getting lots of cool designs? Like I said, I'm not. So far I haven't exchanged any. Mostly it's a time thing. But my question is, if you're going to put, okay, like the DMC, and there's probably a very, very simple answer to this, and I'm just not thinking of it. But, okay, so this is one long continuous thing. Is there a trick to cutting it into lengths, or how are you guys doing that? If someone would explain that to me. How are you getting it off of here and onto here in the correct size lengths? Are you just unwinding the whole thing and then measuring it out every 18 inches or whatever? I'm like I said, there's probably a very simple explanation, and I'm just not thinking of it. So if you could, one of you, all of you, some of you, could let me know how that's working for you. I know with the weeks, because it's also one long thing, but I tend to take mine, take it off of the weeks card. It kind of annoys me that this is smaller than everybody else's. I'm just saying that. I kind of get persnickety sometimes. I just snip it here. But I don't think you can do that with the DMC. I could be wrong. Just someone want to inform me on that. And I think that's it. I need to get going. It is now 11 o'clock. I have piddle farted away my morning, just wandering around here and getting this pulled together. And so I am going to call it a day. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're getting lots of stitching done. And I will see you in the next video, whenever that may be. So you take care until then. Bye.